Live with breaking news, this is News 13 at 11.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nicole Boone. Bob is off tonight. First at 11, we now know the name of the Florence police officer killed in a shooting this afternoon that wounded 6 other law enforcement officers. The Florence County Coroner's Office says Officer Terrence Caraway died in the shooting. He was 52 and from Darlington. City spokesperson John Wakila says Caraway served 30 years with the department. Our live team coverage begins with News 13's Chris Spiker at McLeod Regional Medical Center with how law enforcement is handling Officer Caraway's death. Chris?
Good evening, Nicole. It's been an emotional night for law enforcement here in the city of Florence and all across the PD after 7 law enforcement officers were shot this afternoon and 1 was killed. Now, some of the officers have been taken here to McLeod Hospital. Before speaking to us, several of the law enforcement officials were consoling each other and beginning to mourn the officer's death. The shooting started as the Florence County Sheriff's Department executed a search warrant. I asked Sheriff Kenny Boone about what the warrant was for. He didn't reveal that yet, but he did say the suspect had a several hundred-yard advantage on law enforcement.
These officers went there unknowing the firepower the suspect had. And again, they thought it was a random search warrant. But when they arrived, gunfire started. Several officers were hit.
Again, Officer Caraway was a Florence City police officer. The police chief of Florence spoke to us about his death, and he was very devastated by it. Here's what he had to say.
Today we lost a good friend of mine, an officer that I've known for 30 years. We have 3 other officers at this particular time who are receiving attention at this hospital. Pray for the family who lost the bravest police officer that I have ever known.
Florence's mayor also says that the city and the area are safe tonight because of what Florence PD did. Now, there's no word yet on the condition of the other 6 officers involved. Reporting live in Florence, Chris Spiker, News 13.
Our live team coverage continues now with News 13's Teresa Galasso. She's on Hoffmeyer Road outside Vintage Place, the neighborhood there where the incident took place earlier today. Teresa, what do we know so far about the investigation?
Nicole, it's still an active scene here near the Vintage Place neighborhood. Again, we know a total of 8 people were shot just before 5 o'clock this evening. 4 City of Florence police officers, 3 Florence County Sheriff's deputies, and a 20-year-old man. And as you mentioned, City of Florence officer Terrence Caraway died. Authorities say when deputies tried to serve a search warrant at a home, the suspect opened fire on the deputies as well as police officers who arrived soon after to help.
Eventually, with the use of a bullet-resistant rescue vehicle, the wounded were evacuated and transported to area hospitals for treatment. The subject remained barricaded in the residence with children. The standoff lasted for approximately 2 hours. The suspect is now in custody.
Florence Police Chief Alan Heidler says the children inside the home are safe tonight. Chief Deputy Glenn Kirby with the Florence County Sheriff's Office says the suspect surrendered after talking with a negotiator and was taken to the hospital for treatment. The officers and the 20-year-old are also receiving medical treatment. Now, no word yet on the suspect's name or why the suspect shot at the officers. This stretch of Hoffmeyer Road has now opened up to residents in the area, and of course we'll continue to keep you updated both on air and online as soon as we learn more. For now, that's the latest live in Florence. Teresa Galasso, News 13.
And while this standoff was going on, residents in the area were, of course, very frightened. News 13's Brianna Fernandez spoke to neighbors about what they saw.
I'm off Hoffmeyer Road, where, as you can see, law enforcement are still here at the scene. They have caught the suspect, and I've spoken to residents who say they're just trying to get back home.
Just worried for everybody involved, you know. It's a sad situation that somebody would do this.
One suspect is in custody and a Florence police officer is dead after 8 people were shot at the Vintage Place neighborhood off Hoffmeyer Road. Several residents were waiting at the fire station hoping to get back home soon.
I was at the gym working out, and as soon as I heard my daughter was in the house by herself, just came as quick as I could.
According to the Florence County Sheriff's Office, the suspect surrendered to deputies after talking with a negotiator. Residents that live inside Vintage Place tell me this is a very quiet neighborhood.
I've lived here for 20 years. I mean, the biggest thing that you hear about is someone running a stop sign. So it's an extremely safe neighborhood.
That's the latest in Florence. Brianna Fernandez for News 13.
President Trump sent this tweet about the shootings. My thoughts and prayers are with the Florence County Sheriff's Office and Florence Police Department tonight in South Carolina. We are forever grateful for what our law enforcement officers do 24/7, 365. You can read more reaction to the shooting right now at WBTW.com.
And storm tracker radar remains dry tonight. High pressure is in control. We don't have any rain on radar. There's no clouds really in sight either. It's a calm night out there. Temperatures not quite as comfortable as they have in the past couple of nights. The moisture slowly starting to creep back in. It's starting to get a little bit more humid out there. And temperatures, though, should be making their way into at least the upper 60s to near 70 by Thursday morning. Tomorrow, though, is going to be even warmer than today, with temperatures nearing 90 inland. I'll have those details coming up here in just a few minutes.
And we have you covered tonight as flood recovery continues across the eastern Carolinas. Hundreds of homes in Conway were impacted by flooding from the Waccamaw River, and now the city works to inspect their safety. Earlier today, city inspections assessed home damage and assigned them a safety rating. A home will get a red, yellow, or green card. Green means safe, yellow means caution, and that inspectors found some sort of hazard, and red means off limits.
Yellow, we do want you to come and pull a permit to get whatever items we found to be damaged. We want you to get them fixed. Those permits are free. The city is doing free permit fees to anyone who has suffered any kind of loss or damage during this time.
SCDOT says the removal of the flood barrier on the US 501 bypass in Conway is progressing rapidly. Today, DOT moved the 2 single traffic lanes to the opposite side of the highway to complete the removal. All truck and oversized load traffic is asked to use SC 22 until the work is finished. Dillon County Council moves forward with mosquito control plans. Council voted unanimously today to buy new spraying equipment. And as News 13's Aaron Brown reports, people there are ready for that spraying to begin.
Lauren Rowell says mosquitoes are no stranger to the Riverdale neighborhood.
Normally, we can come outside, it won't get bit, maybe 1 or 2.
But ever since Hurricane Florence hit, it's been a different story.
3, 4, 5 fall into your car. You can't even get inside the house. You get inside the house, they're following behind you. You're sitting down the house, and you just hit yourself because mosquitoes are just so terrible.
Lauren says she's stocked up on mosquito repellent, but it wears off quickly. She has resorted to staying inside as much as possible.
Either you slept, you ate, watched TV, got on your phone, try to find a little service.
Lauren says she looks forward to the day when she can go outside without getting attacked by a swarm of mosquitoes. And Dillon County Council vows to make that possible with the purchase of 3 mosquito spraying machines.
Hopefully this will relieve them a little bit and help out.
Chairman Stevie Grice says once they get those machines, they will start spraying immediately. And residents say time is of the essence.
If they hurry up and get it and start working, it might be effective. But I mean, just like with the spray, some gonna die and then more gonna come. Yeah. This ain't way of living. Just keep getting big.
Aaron Brown for News 13.
The 3 mosquito spraying machines will cost the county $8,000 each. The county hopes to get reimbursed from FEMA. Aerial mosquito spraying, meanwhile, continued today in Horry County. The county says the spraying is now happening west of Conway. Beekeepers are asked to report the location of their hives to the county and to cover the hives during spraying. FEMA will open more disaster recovery centers in South Carolina for people affected by Hurricane Florence. A center will open tomorrow afternoon in the Road Rescue Building at the Marion County Industrial Park. The other centers are at Horry Georgetown Tech in Conway, the Dillon Wellness Center in Dillon, and Northeast Technical College in Sherrall. The centers are open weekdays from 7 until 7 and on weekends from 9 until 7. FEMA says it will also open a center in Marlborough County on Friday and in Georgetown County next Sunday. Francis Marion University will host one of two South Carolina gubernatorial debates. It's set for Wednesday, October 17th at the FMU Performing Arts Center. Republican incumbent Henry McMaster and his Democratic challenger, State Senator James Smith, will appear at the hour-long event. It's free to attend, but you will need a ticket. We've posted that information at WBTW.com. A second debate will happen the following week in the upstate. The FBI wraps up its investigation of Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. Next on News 13, senators will soon get their first look at the findings.
Well, we're not the only ones that are hot across the country right now. Most of the middle portions of the country, very warm out there. Coming up in just a few minutes, I'll let you know how long these warm temperatures are going to stick around.